Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Walk to Wealth podcast. If you're tuning in on YouTube or any of the podcast directories, make sure to do yourself one teeny tiny little favor and make sure to give us a follow because I don't want you to miss out on any of the amazing updates in the new series, The Road to Wealth. So, that being said, let's get right into this. See, when I dropped out of college, I thought 4 years ago that I'd be making way more money than my peers, right? I thought that dropping out of college was actually going to be the smartest thing that I could do, and it's going to save me from getting into debt. Well, actually, I spent the first 2 years in entrepreneurship not making any money. In fact, I was losing money, and I currently make way less than I would have made had I just stayed the course with college and found a good paying job and worked my way up, right? And now I'm in way more debt than I would have been had I just stayed in school. And not drastically more, but a decent amount more. And even though things look horrible right now, I wouldn't trade it for the world because I know God got me and I know He's cooking up something amazing and I'm working my way out of the debt. So here's where I'm currently at. This is episode 1 of the Road to Wealth series. And I'm going to be pretty much unveiling the curtain to everything as to where I'm at right now. So here's where I'm currently at. I had 10 credit cards maxed, right? 10 credit cards, all of them maxed. At the height of this, we're currently at the day I wrote up this episode was June 23rd, right? In 2025, at the highest of my debt, I think I was just under 58,000 at the highest, which is insane to think about. My credit was so bad that I had 5 of my credit cards closed without my, I guess, consent. But I mean, credit card companies are entitled to do so. That's in the terms and agreements and stuff like that for the most part. But like, I had 5 credit cards of mine closed, meaning I can no longer use them even if I paid off the balance in full. Right? Can no longer use them. I paid off one of them so far, and my credit score right now is poor. Right, 572 on Experian and a 585 on Equifax and TransUnion. Yeah, my credit is awful right now, and it's crazy. Like, because I'm gonna be looking to in the future get a rental, and like when you're looking for a rental, I'm not sure where it is in other areas, but like people treat you like a third-rate citizen. People treat you like you're low class. People treat you like you're a disgrace to society, like you're a scum, bottom of the barrel when your credit score is below 700, at least in the rental market. And it's crazy because everyone has a story, right? Everyone has a story. And also, we live in a country that is very financially illiterate. Like 2/3 of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. We have trillions and trillions of dollars of consumer debt, right? We have like 3/4 of American almost can't afford a $500 emergency expense. So I'm not sure where all these landlords and real estate investors are expecting like perfect credit scores or excellent credit scores to come from. But like, yeah, when you have a 700 plus credit score, you get treated way worse, and get viewed worse and more harshly in the eyes of some of these landlords, even if you're making good money, which I don't understand. Like, well, with that being said, here's where I'm currently at in terms of my credit cards, right? So my savings right now is currently non-existent, right? I had at the time of me recording this episode, scripting this episode, my Chase checkings account was overdrafted, and so here are the 9 credit cards and how much I owe on all of them. Be ready to get your mind blown because it's pretty bad. It is pretty bad. So my Chase Freedom Flex card, I had a balance of $3,024.38, right? The minimum payment on that is $103, and the interest every month that was gained was about $73.03, right? My Chase Sapphire Preferred card, I had a balance of that at 4,863 with 12 cents. My minimum payment on that is 163, and then interest every month is about $114.37. My Chase Marriott Boundless card had a balance of 5,014 and 40 cents. My minimum payment on that is 169. My entrance every month is about $118.78. My Bank of America card had a balance of 4,834 and 58 cents with a minimum payment each month of 183, and then interest monthly is about $94.38. My Amex Everyday card has a balance of $6,907.86 and a minimum monthly payment of $214.12. Interest on it is roughly $147.88 a month. My MX Blue Blizzards Plus card is $10,000, $10,143 and 11 cents. Minimum payment on that is $347. Interest roughly each month is $208.85. My MX um, Marriott Business Bonvoy has a balance of 9,838.05. Minimum payment each month is roughly $350. Interest each month is roughly $234.85. My Chase Ink Cash card, right, has a balance of $4,619.46. Minimum payment $131. Interest on it is $185.38. And my Chase Ink Unlimited has a balance of $3,480.38 with a minimum payment of $186. Interest on it is $52.83 so far. So I just threw a whole lot of numbers at you, right? Now, 5 of the cards that I named are personal cards. 4 of them are business cards. The business cards don't report to my personal credit, so I'm not as hard pressed to pay those off. But of the cards that I mentioned, my Chase Freedom Flex is closed. My Chase Sapphire Preferred is closed. My uh, Bank of America card is closed. My Chase Ink Cash is closed, and then I have a Chase Freedom Unlimited, which I paid off earlier this year, which is fully paid off, but the account is closed, so I can't even use that card anymore. So with all these numbers that I just mentioned, here's what the totals look like. Here's Here's what the totals look like. I had a total debt in personal credit cards of $24,644.34, and I had a total debt for business cards of $28,081. So my total debt coming out to $52,725.34 as of June 23rd, which is not that long ago, right? That's a lot of money. Here's what the even crazier part is. My total minimum monthly payments that I'm making across all my cards is roughly $1,746.12. That's enough to pay rent somewhere. That's enough for rent, right? And here's what's even crazier. My monthly interest that gets accrued is roughly $1,130 and 35 cents, right? So there's a lot of money being wasted here, a lot of money. And before anyone says anything, with credit cards being like predatory or whatever, like had I not had a good credit, I would have had to find a job and would have had to shut down the business or find a job. Um, but due to credit cards, I've been able to stay afloat. Now, yes, has it hit my credit card, but my credit score? But what good is having credit if you can never use it? Now, of course, we all want to be financially responsible citizens and have this never happen. But it's not like I paid for dumb stuff. It's not like I was out clubbing or buying drinks and stuff like that. Like a lot of reasons why my cards max is because I was investing too much in like business programs, coaching programs, masterminds, stuff like that. And I was getting too trigger happy and not counting, uh, not tracking as much as I'm making, right? And also miscellaneous expenses. Like let's say I go to a conference, Uber from my house to the airport is like $100. Then I had to get an Uber back home when I came back from my flight. But then also Uber from the airport, wherever I'm arriving to that hotel, can run you anywhere from like $30 to $80 right there, depending on how far the hotel is from the airport. So like things like that. Let's say I'm going on one trip, that's like almost $300, if not more, on Ubers that I'm spending that I'm not tracking for, and that adds up very, very quickly, especially in 2023 when I went on 10 different conferences, right? So that added up very quickly. That's like $3,000 right there, probably just spent on Ubers in 2023 alone, and stuff like that. I wasn't tracking. I wasn't being astute with my finances, I guess you could say, and that's what kind of put me in this bad position. Now, what's the plan between now and next week? Well, at the time of me writing this, right, it was June 23rd. My AI won't replace me challenge was just finishing up. I said I was going to call people and get feedback, right? I had a speaking engagement coming up on Thursday and a big networking event. And my goal is to sell out my AI workshop in July that I'm hosting. My goal was to pay off my credit card in full, finish my email sequence for my launch to get last minute signups. And really quickly, I want to just break down something before we wrap up. My strategy for paying down all this debt is the snowball method, right? So I'm going to pay off my smallest debts first. And then once I get that paid off, then put that money towards paying the next bigger debt. So right now, at the time of me recording this, right, um, I have 9 credit cards currently maxed. My lowest balance is my Chase Freedom Flex card. Well, first of all, I'm focusing on personal cards first. So out of my personal cards, my lowest balance is $3,024.38. That's my Chase Freedom Flex card, right? The minimum monthly payment on that is $103, right? And the monthly interest is $73.07. So you do the math on that. If I pay that off in full, right, that's $176.03 each month that I can then put back towards, you know, the next card, right? So that's my goal for this week, right? Is paying off that card. Once I get that taken care of, then I'll tackle the next one. But that's all for this episode. Hopefully you find this valuable, right? Most people are, again, scared to share their finances, and it was a very sensitive topic, but there's a saying, right? Conflict delayed is conflict multiplied. And the longer we fail to talk about finances, the longer we continue to avoid conversations about money, the longer more people will continue to stay illiterate when it comes to money. The longer people will stay ignorant and be, I guess you could call it, dumb when it comes to personal finance, right? Ignorant. I guess ignorant is a better way to put it. Ignorant when it comes to personal finance. Like, we need to be having conversations about money, how to manage how to manage credit, how to build credit more. So it's not something that's taboo. Because why we use money every single day. We need money to exchange. We need money to barter, right? And so, like, by avoiding these conversations, right, it may be tough, especially when you're in a tough situation like when I am. Like, some of you may be in worse situations than I am currently. Most people who are my age right now, they don't have anywhere near as much debt as I am, unless they have school loans, which, I mean, kind of doesn't count as much. Like, this could have been totally avoided, right? I mean, school as well, but you know. So my goal is to completely pay this off. I also have like 20,000 in student loan debt, but I'm not really worried about that right now because the payment pause. So I'm not even making payments on that. But we'll see how that, if that turns on, then I'll just add that to my list, and now instead of 50,000 plus in debt, I'm 70. But I'm not worried about that for now. That being said, let's have more conversations about money. Money shouldn't be a taboo topic. Let's break traditions. Let's break the norm and discuss this more so that we can walk to up, so that we can grow in our journey, so that we can have the money to afford the dream lifestyle that we want, to afford the vacation we want, the marriage we want, afford to put our kids in the programs that we want, the schools that we want, to afford to play, all the sports that we want, like sign up for the recreational league, sign up for go out with friends, you name it. Like, the whole point of having a successful business is, or just a business in general, is to fund our dream lives, I believe. And that's what I've learned. And so, what good is it if I can't use any of the money that I'm making? Well, right now, the money that I'm making is going all to aggressive debt pay down. But once that's done, then the next phase is, again, like I mentioned in my debut episode, get rid of the debt, build my credit, build my savings, and then from there, get back into investing and really start building wealth. But that's all for this episode, and I will see you in the next one.